Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, dwyervip.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Let's talk Manny Pacquiao versus Amir Khan this April the 23rd in Dubai. I like Manny Pacquiao in this fight. I know the narrative is going to be that these two guys sparred in the past. That Amir Khan can match Manny Pacquiao in hand speed and is physically the bigger man. Right? He's younger. He's fresher. He's not going to be dazzled by Manny Pacquiao. Right? Manny's a guy who he shared camps with. He's not going to be in the ring with Manny looking for Manny's autograph. He's going to be in the ring focused, trying to get the victory. I'm not buying it. First, let's look at the details. The devil is in the details. And the details favor Manny Pacquiao. Now, it's February the 26th, 2017. This fight is less than 2 months away. Let's do the math. Right? April the 23rd is less than 2 months away from February the 26th. Now, the fight is at 147 pounds, where Manny Pacquiao has been active, more active than Amir Khan of late. Let's remember, just last year, we're not going to go too deep into these guys' careers. Just last year, what have they done lately? Manny Pacquiao, and I know the press is telling you Pacquiao is a part-time fighter and he's really a Filipino congressman and stuff like that. But somehow, in 2016, Pacquiao fought Timothy Bradley, who has hand speed. He also fought Jesse Vargas. He wins both of those matches. Pacquiao is on a winning streak at 147 pounds. Now, by contrast, Amir Khan's last fight was at 155 pounds, folks. 155 pounds. In a bout I personally thought he should have won going away against Saul Alvarez, who brutally knocked him out. If you're on the canvas and you're unconscious after a punch at the end of a fight with no hope of beating the count, you've been brutally knocked out. Now, this fight at 155 pounds, and let's be clear here, that's 1 pound north of the division. That's north of welterweight, right? That one fight was the only fight that Amir Khan had in 2016. You have to go back to May of 2015 to find a fight in which Amir Khan came in at the welterweight limit. Let's also be charitable here. You heard me earlier say that Timothy Bradley has hand speed. Right? Manny Pacquiao has been in the ring recently, relatively recently, with some guys who've had some hand speed. Canelo doesn't have Timothy Bradley level hand speed. He doesn't have Manny Pacquiao level hand speed. Now, I know I'm going to hear, Dwyer, why are you hating on Canelo? Just understand, I'm picking Canelo over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. That video is still up. So, Khan, coming off of a knockout loss against a guy with slower hand speed than Manny Pacquiao, right? Against a Manny Pacquiao who's been more active at 147 pounds, is going to have to lose a few pounds in less than 2 months to make weight. Now keep in mind, we think of Amir Khan as a young guy. He's certainly the younger guy in this fight. But he's 30 years old. I'm just telling you, the weight at 30 doesn't come off as quickly as it does at 20 or 25. Another reason I like Manny Pacquiao in the fight, let's just be blunt here, is because Manny is older, is more mature. Right? Pacquiao is one of the more mature statesman type characters in the sport of boxing. And understand too, his corner, Freddie Roach, knows Amir Khan from first-hand experience training him. Right? Now this is different from Khan's corner thinking they know Manny Pacquiao. Right? Khan's trainer hasn't trained Manny Pacquiao. He hasn't had Manny Pacquiao in the gym for a prolonged period of time, looking at his strengths and weaknesses and saying things to him like, look, son, you have to move your head a little bit more. Which, by the way, is what Freddie Roach told Khan before the Danny Garcia fight. Right? You need more head movement. You need more flexibility. Right? It can't be about stiffness and hand speed, because at a high level, right, when you're at championship level, your opponent might actually be able to dampen your speed and land some punches. You need to be able to roll with punches. Now understand, Freddie Roach knows that from personal observation, from discussions with his former trainee. Right? Pacquiao's cornerman knows Amir Khan, in my opinion, better than Khan's corner is going to know Manny Pacquiao. Let's also say this too, and I know I'm going to get into dicey area here. Right? This is why, quite frankly, in my opinion, YouTube is such a great forum. Because you can actually get a little bit deeper than the mainstream media here. Psychologically, I think Manny Pacquiao has the edge. Right? He wasn't the little brother, the sparring partner in training camp for the icon. Right? He's not the little brother trying to prove to the big brother that he's alpha. No, Manny was the icon. Right? Years ago, when these guys were together, understand, Manny Pacquiao was viewed as the best in the sport pound for pound, along with Floyd Mayweather. Right? Amir Khan was the sidekick. Amir Khan was Robin. We know who Batman was. Also, right now, it looks to me like Manny Pacquiao is a guy who views boxing as a sport. You know all of these shows, right? 24/7, the gloves are off, face to face. The guys are seated at a table and they're looking tough. They're trying to sell tickets. They're trying to give us sound bites. Every time I see Manny Pacquiao in one of these, Manny just looks like he's there, you know, saying, hey, Joe, how's it going? You know, yeah, we're fighting on Saturday. Should be a good fight. I assume you're ready. I'll be ready. Let's put on a show for the fans. He doesn't look to me like a guy who feels he needs to convince the other guy of his dominance. He doesn't even look like he's trying to discourage the other guy. That's the level of confidence Manny Pacquiao has. Right? He's an older fighter who's seen it all. He was the toast of the town when he was younger. Right? He knows. He knows. He's a likely boxing Hall of Famer. Right? It's not theory for him to translate his success in the ring out of it. Because the guy's already run for political office out of the ring and has already won that contest. Right? By contrast, I see Amir Khan as a different personality type. Now look, I'm not a psychologist here. I'm just a guy trying to get an edge on the casino. But I want people to just Google Amir Khan's ongoing spat with Kell Brook. Right? A lot of rough things have been said by both guys. They seem psychologically caught up. You know, it's a mystery to me how these guys who seem to have been able to have arranged fights with people like Saul Alvarez and Golovkin can't arrange a fight with each other. It's that psychologically twisted. You get the feeling that it's personal. That when these guys are insulting each other, you know, Amir Khan's trying to convince Kell Brook, look, dude, I know you have a belt at 147 pounds, but you're not all that. You and I both know I got the better of you in sparring. By the way, that's another situation involving a world-class fighter that Amir Khan has sparred with. So to me, I actually prefer the Manny Pacquiao approach. Right? Pacquiao, to me, just seems to be a guy who's very comfortable with himself, who can put things in context, who doesn't get overheated. And that's very important when you're talking about an event of this magnitude. Right? These guys are going to be getting millions of dollars. They're going to be fighting in a venue that's one of the richest places in the world. A venue that might see itself as a future repeat player in the sport. You can imagine Dubai. This fight's going to be special. It's going to be front page news. This isn't another Saturday night in Vegas, right? Rather, this is going to be a special event in a venue that has wanted the event. I just feel that Manny Pacquiao psychologically is more mature and better grounded. Let's also talk about boxing-wise. Today, I prefer Manny Pacquiao's game. Manny knows who he is, and I think that's very important. He's a speed guy. He's a fastball pitcher. In fact, really, if you want to come down to it, he's really a relief pitcher, isn't he? In other words, he's Aroldis Chapman. A guy who comes in the game and who knows. Who the batter knows. Who the other team knows. Is going to be throwing fastballs. Right? That's the level of chess here. Manny Pacquiao knows that his straight left hand is one of the best punches in boxing. You should think of him the way you think of Deontay Wilder. Right? He has a left-handed Deontay Wilder. He has a great straight left hand. It's spectacular. Pacquiao, of course, unlike Wilder, can hide himself better in the ring. He's shorter. Can frame that left hand better than Wilder. And has much faster feet and better timing. Right? Pacquiao is a master. In other words, he's the older relief pitcher who has honed his craft. He has the velocity on his fastball. It's very effective. If you can't figure out what to do with it, you end up like Chris Algieri did against Manny Pacquiao on the canvas several times. Right? Manny's not going to be in the ring confused about who he is, trying to play a lot of defense. trying to block a lot of punches. Right? His mind's going to be clear. Right? He's throwing a fastball. His corner's going to tell him, hey, what you want to do is throw it outside. You know, throw it high and tight. But his corner's not going to tell him, Manny, stop throwing the fastball. Stop throwing the straight left hand. Right? Now, let me say this. Amir Khan left Freddie Roach. Right? He's worked on his defense since then. He sacrificed a little bit of speed to become a better defensive fighter. It was a work in process. You might remember the Julio Diaz fight. Now, against guys who can't match Amir Khan in hand speed, Khan could sacrifice a little hand speed to think a little bit. Right? To unveil his defensive construct. Defense makes him a better fighter against guys who can't match his hand speed. The million-dollar question here is whether, if Khan hesitates and is trying to throw some defensive construct out there, whether that's going to work against a guy as fast as Manny Pacquiao, who doesn't give you time to think. Right? Let me say this too. The guys who bother Manny Pacquiao are highly disciplined technicians, aren't they? Eric Morales, Juan Manuel Marquez, Floyd Mayweather. Right? These are the kind of guys who are committed to their game plan. Right? They aren't in the ring having lapses of judgment. Right? You know, their mind's not wandering in the ring. They know they're dealing with Manny Pacquiao, and they have to be disciplined. I just don't believe that's Amir Khan. Let's get back to the Canelo fight. And that was his last fight. Now, how could Khan lose that fight? I understand Vegas had Canelo favored big. I understand that's the way the public saw the fight. Let's break with the public here. Didn't Khan have the hand speed advantage? Didn't Khan have the foot speed advantage? I know I'm going to hear about Canelo's size advantage, but how really was Canelo able to throw his weight around? I didn't see him close enough to Amir Khan to lean on Amir Khan, right? I didn't get the feeling I was watching Big George Foreman look big, leaning on guys, right? I didn't see Vladimir Klitschko up on a guy, leaning on the back of his neck. Right? I didn't see where Canelo really was able to use a size advantage. So let's get to the end of the fight, because that's Canelo's best moment in the fight, right? That fight is really a one-punch knockout fight. Count me with Teddy Atlas, who thought Khan was dominating the fight up until that point. Now you're fighting Canelo. Don't you know about Canelo's straight left hand? Is that a secret? Don't you know that Canelo is a guy who's like Vladimir Klitschko? And if he sees an opening, he's going to lean that, straight right hand and come right down Main Street with it. I want you to look at the replay again of Amir Khan getting knocked out by Canelo's straight right hand. How does a guy get hit that flush by one of Canelo's signature punches? Right? What exactly is Amir Khan thinking? Canelo doesn't even have to thread the needle. Right? That's like me standing in front of Carl Froch saying, Carl, please hit me with an uppercut. Right? I just got the feeling that Amir Khan's mind wandered a bit in the middle of the biggest fight of his career. Let's go back a little bit further. Right? Amir Khan against Danny Garcia, right? Danny's still unbeaten, folks. Danny has a big fight with Keith Thurman coming up. By the way, I'm taking Keith Thurman in that fight. Well, in that fight, Amir Khan comes out, looks great the first 2 rounds. You're looking at the first 2 rounds and you're thinking, oh, come on. This is a guy with superior hand speed who can throw straighter punches against a mid-range hooker. Right? Khan just needs to establish a jab, make sure he's not mid-range on Danny. Right? Keep it an inside-outside game. Batter Danny, have Danny following him around the ring like a puppy. Instead, we get to round 3. What's Khan doing standing mid-range in front of Danny Garcia? Isn't that round 3 a blueprint on how to lose to Danny Garcia? Who stands right in front of Danny Garcia and lets Danny get off hooks with both hands? How does that happen so early in the fight? You know, as I like to say, look, if you know a guy has a plan A, shouldn't you at least force the guy into the later rounds before that plan A has any effectiveness? How prepared are you for the fight when the guy is able to bust out his plan A and be effective early in the fight? I thought Danny Garcia was too effective. I thought Amir Khan couldn't sense the punches coming, right? His neck is more rigid than my neck, and I hardly have a neck. Right? I mean, you know, Amir Khan is just there. His head's wooden. Danny's throwing hook after hook. Amir Khan's just getting battered, isn't he? Well, let's go back to the last time Amir Khan fought a guy who, in my opinion, has above average hand speed. And it was a fight Manny Pacquiao also had against Chris Algieri. Now, I know the boxing public is going to tell you that Amir Khan won that fight. Right? Okay, fine. He didn't on my scorecard. I thought Chris Algieri comes forward on his front foot and gave Khan all kinds of problems. Is landing punches with both hands. Right? I thought Algieri looked great in that fight. Can we just say here that Algieri looked much better against Amir Khan than he did against either Manny Pacquiao or Errol Spence? Right? Yes, Algieri insists on fighting tough competition. Right? But my point to you is Khan, at this stage of his career, at times to me looks distracted in the ring and doesn't look completely prepared. I wasn't sure what he was trying to accomplish against Chris Algieri. And let's just say he's challenged that entire fight. I would encourage you to go back and look at that Khan Algieri fight. By contrast, Manny Pacquiao was too sudden for Algieri. Right? Algieri has a hard time finding him in the ring. Then when Algieri finds Manny Pacquiao, oops, that was a mistake. Pacquiao starts throwing heavy leather. Algieri hits the canvas several times. You got the feeling in that fight that there's a moment, because Pacquiao is really more of a sportsman than a boxer. There's a moment where Manny Pacquiao seems to have looked at him and said, you know what? This guy's fighting bravely. I'm okay winning this fight with 5 or 6 knockdowns. Right? I didn't get the feeling Manny decided, okay, this fight ends in this round. But the point is, Manny is in control. Manny still has power. That power is still sudden. The Algieri fight is very important since that's the only fight Amir Khan has in 2015. So I haven't been that impressed with Amir Khan for a couple of fights, right? I still think on talent he should have beaten Saul Alvarez, right? I'm still amazed that that knockout happened the way it did and that Khan got hit so flush. So, because I believe Manny Pacquiao has been the big brother in their relationship, because I've been more impressed with Manny Pacquiao's recent fights than I have Amir Khan's recent fights, because the fights in Manny Pacquiao's weight class, where Pacquiao has a winning streak, and because Khan is coming off of a KO loss that was devastating in a fight I thought he should have won, right? In a different weight class. I like Manny Pacquiao here in this fight, right? I think Khan's going to come in with a lot of physical gifts. But I think Manny Pacquiao mentally is going to have the edge. And in terms of his suddenness, is going to have the edge. Right? I like Manny Pacquiao in this one. Right? If I had to hedge the play, it would be Khan by KO. If this fight goes the distance, I'm expecting Manny Pacquiao to win. I'm expecting Manny Pacquiao to outbox Amir Khan. Right? If Khan gets lucky on a punch, great. Just understand in terms of chins, Manny Pacquiao has a great chin. Right? I've only seen Manny really shaken up in the last Juan Manuel Marquez fight of late. I know if you go back further in Manny's career, he was stopped earlier. Whereas with Amir Khan, let's face it, he's KO'd by Saul Alvarez. That's the last fight, folks. Right? So I even give Manny the edge on chins. The bet I'm recommending is Manny simply to win the fight. You're not going to get great odds. I'll hedge the play with Amir Khan by KO. I'm expecting Manny Pacquiao to put on a show. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section to this video. Thanks for stopping by.